moving on to one of the main points, why business development needs to be a focus for professional service firms. That could be wealth manager, IFA, lawyer, accountant, barrister, person missing on the table. Joanna.
Well, assuming you want to sustain your business, never mind grow, it's pretty risky if you don't have a structured approach to BD. The firm I'm working with at the moment, the one I've just been talking about, they kind of just have winged it a bit, really. Oh, is work coming in? Oh, great. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, dear, we're going to have a bad month. So you need to create more certainty in your business. The second reason is business might be amazing right now. It might not be in 3 years' time, might not be in 3 months' time, the way things are right now. Yeah. So you need to be prepared for that. I was saying to the prospective client this morning, it's a bit like putting a plumbing system in. You're not going to get water if you've got no plumbing system. So you need to put in those right foundations so that you can turn the tap on. And there's another very important factor with professional services businesses, that loyalty has gone down. If we go back to a legal example, my grandfather ran a business and he used the same lawyer for years. And when I was buying a house, oh, you should use them. No, they were too expensive. But loyalty has now declined. So the stats I got from somebody last week were 5 years ago, 75% of people would go back just out of loyalty to the same professional services firm. That has now diminished to 50%. And the expectation is that in 5 years' time, that diminishes again. So we actually have to work a lot harder to hang on to our clients. Another big challenge for firms is they're relying on a limited number of people. Oh, Bob's great at networking. He does all the BD. Oh, Jane, yeah, she does some stuff. What happens when those people are sick? They leave. Something happens. They can't do BD anymore. Very, very risky to be focused on so few people. And you're missing out on lots of opportunities. And we talked about existing clients a bit earlier. Well, they are one of 3 levers I talk about that you really need to be working on for your business. So the first one is the existing clients. I've talked about how to get more from them, should be the easy wins. The middle one is the intermediaries, the introducers. So the people that have clients like us, who can introduce me to people that I want to work with, who has a similar client base. Because if you build a relationship with somebody like that, you build that relationship once, or maybe with a few people in their business, they send you 10 clients, maybe you can send them 10. So being really strategic about that, how can you do that? And then the last one is new clients directly. How do you access those? And I'm actually working with a lot about lawyers today. I don't just work with lawyers, individual lawyer, and she's really unusual. She's only 2 to 3 years post-qualified, and she's seen a massive opportunity in her firm in a niche area. So there's one partner working on landed estates in her firm. Okay. She's super interested in it. So she's building her profile. He wants to retire in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, is she going to get made partner, even if she gets really good at BD? Probably not, but we can get her to a good place that she can take over that work and represent that firm in that market. And she's just recognised there's a massive opportunity here. So we're working on her profile in the market and her plan for that. And I mentioned juniors earlier. They're not getting used a lot in firms. And the problem is, if you don't get them used to doing BD early on, it's really tough getting them to do it later. We all find it harder to learn new things the older we get, but also they just don't get to see it as part of their day job. And when I talk about a business development culture, there are 2 factors contributing to that. Lots of people doing BD in different ways, not all doing the same. Doesn't mean that next week everybody has to go networking, but also it's part of business as usual. Now, BD is talked about in the organisation, team meetings, right? What are our leads? What are we working on? What prospective work have we got coming up? So really important to be thinking about how we can involve those juniors.
Just a side question, Joanna, if you don't mind. You've talked about the reduction of loyalty, which many in the professional sectors took it for granted. They didn't have marketing. I know a accounting firm around the corner who only employed a marketing division 3 years ago, post-COVID, because they were they had a name and they had a very good following. And I did actually suggest that you may want to rethink that strategy. And what do you think is the decline of loyalty? Is it to do with the internet and social SEOs? And you've probably got a view on that.
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, it is easier to find other service providers, isn't it, now?
Yeah.
We can, in seconds on Google, find someone else. So I think that is a big reason. Also, I think loyalty is less generally in life. You know, you think about it in lots of regards. People don't stick with the same. It's what can this person do for me? And if they're not doing well for me, well, I'll just move on. Whereas there might have been a bit more grace, perhaps, around poor service in the past, or I've always used Bob down at so-and-so firm, I'll keep on doing that. So I think that's it, really.